Now to our call of the day, KeyBank Capital Markets reiterating its overweight rating on NVIDIA. The note highlighting the delay of the Blackwell chip will have no impact on near-term results. And joining us now is the analyst behind that note, John Vinh, equity research analyst at KeyBank Capital Markets. John, always good to have you on the show. So NVIDIA reports next week, John, and these reports we're getting of next-gen Blackwell chips getting delayed, John, that is front and center. How should investors think about that issue, John?
Yeah, I mean, a couple things that we're highlighting today is, there's going to be no near-term impact on that Blackwell delay in terms of their Q2 results and Q3 guidance. Blackwell was originally only going to start ramping maybe towards the end of the July quarter. Contributions into the October quarter were really supposed to be very modest. And what we're kind of hearing from customers is that a lot of that Blackwell backlog has largely been backfilled with additional incremental Hopper orders. As you kind of get into Q4 for these guys, we think there's going to be sequential growth and still very outsized demand for Hopper GPUs. And then you're going to start to see some contribution from Blackwell revenues in the Q4 timeframe, but that's all going to be an incremental on top of kind of their Hopper revenue base.
John, how is the Hopper supply holding up right now? Especially since if they're migrating some of what would have been Blackwell orders to Hopper orders, are they keeping up with that?
Yeah, supply is really not an issue at this point in time. I think a quarter ago, you started to see lead times for Hopper GPUs actually start to normalize. There's actually a lot more advanced packaging capacity coming online here in the second half. So supply is really no longer going to be a constraint here as we go into earnings with NVIDIA.
Here's the current market update for NVIDIA Corporation, stock ticker NVDA. So in this video, we see a bit of an interesting take here, a bit of a different take, because the suggestion here overall is that investors should not be paying as much attention to the Blackwell release and the delays with the Blackwell release, because the suggestion here is that most of that demand has been sort of satiated or made up with Hopper GPUs. So the suggestion here is that possibly this is a bit of an overblown issue. I don't think that we've heard that very much in the market so far. I think that that's part of the commentary that has been missing a bit here. Near term, what we're looking at here with the NVIDIA price chart itself, here we have the 2-hour price chart. And before we begin with this analysis, I do want to say that if you find these educational materials to be helpful in your trading, please remember to click the like and subscribe buttons so that other traders will be able to find this information more easily. So currently what we're seeing near term is a price high that came in at 131.26. This is a bit interesting too, because we did see a bit of some higher price movements here, a bit of upside activity, which is surprising because we do have this major event risk coming after the bell tomorrow. So in some sense, it's interesting that anybody would be interested in entering into positions at this point. I guess you're sort of playing for the possibility that NVIDIA beats on every metric, because that really is what is going to need to happen. But as we can see here, a lot of these positions really did close quite quickly. I mean, these really were day trading positions that were exited here. So we did post new near-term highs of 131.26, but it looks like those positions were quickly closed. And we're also seeing some spiking activity in the trading volumes themselves. So we are getting a little bit more erratic here and a little bit more uncertain. So if you're not able to play in the deep end of the swimming pool, it's probably better to stay on the sidelines here. I'm not telling you what to do with your money. You can obviously enter into these short-term positions if you want to do that. But what I'm saying here is that I do think that we're going to start to get much more volatile and erratic with this price action. Choppy would be a very good word for describing this.
Let's say, John, the print comes in as you expect. I know that's a big if, but let's say that happens. On the call, John, what would be your big questions for Jensen Huang?
I think the big question is, how is Blackwell doing, right? What's your expectations in terms of the timing of the ramp? And, more, I think I heard your last call about, cadence and customers moving to system level solutions. The big thing with NVIDIA with Blackwell is they are moving to a system level rack level scale architecture with GB200. That's the big question mark. The concerns there is that going to be able to ramp on time and ramp in meaningful volumes for next year? Those would be the key questions that I would want to ask them.
Well, I'm also curious if you are, if you're a customer and you were expecting Blackwell 100, and now the company says, well, we can only get you Hopper, or we'll get you got to wait and we'll get you Blackwell 200. How do customers feel about that? Especially like if you wanted the 100 and now you're getting the 200, isn't the 200 a more expensive product? How is all of that shaking out?
Yeah, so we think because of the delay and because of kind of the supply constraints around Blackwell more specifically, NVIDIA's made the decision to effectively cancel B100 and replace it with B200A. This is going to be a GPU that's going to be targeted more towards the enterprise customers. NVIDIA right now, it looks like what their strategy is in the second half this year is they're going to really position and focus on B200 and GB200. And those chips are primarily going to be targeted at their larger hyperscale customers. So you're going to see them get priority to kind of Blackwell when it first starts to hit the market. I think the enterprise markets, which are generally a little bit later to kind of adopt some of these newer generation chips, they're probably going to have to wait till the first half of 2025 to get their hands on B200A, or their options in the near term is to continue to buy Hopper.
The stock, John, it's up about still 160% this year. How does valuation look, John? I mean, you must still think it's still attractive even at these levels.
Yeah, we do. We've got them earning a little bit over $5 and some change for next year. Stock trades at roughly 25 multiple relative to that. The broader semiconductor group trades in kind of the low 20s. Historically, these guys have historically traded in the 35 to 40 times range, and being one of the best positioned semiconductor company, obviously levered to one of the strongest product cycles in AI right now, we think it's still attractively valued at these levels.
Our High Value Trading Strategies membership is currently available for a limited time for only $9.99 per month. These high conviction investment strategies are characterized by superior risk to reward metrics that target massive market-beating returns over time. Join now to outperform the market. Lock in this special introductory rate of just $9.99 per month for the entire lifetime of your membership and start trading stocks with the pros.